You're all okay out there. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. Got a whole screen. That's unusual. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. Tuesdays are my request evening. Thursdays are stories that I like to bring to you. I'm also over on the TikTok, which is Jess Rose 5472. You could join my Patreon, which is patreon.com/JessRose5472, or you could just watch. It is a live, so I am going to wait for a few people to join, but once I start, I don't stop. There's no kind of chopping and changing, so you could just fast forward if you like. But I'll just wait for a few people to join and then I'll start. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. It also goes up on my pre-recorded videos at the weekend. If you just want to miss all of this all together, that's fine too. So I'll just say hi to the guys in the live and then we'll start. Hey Warwick, hey sis, how we doing? How are we? Tell me about your plans for the weekend. Have we had a good couple of days? What are we doing the weekend? What's going on, guys? How are we? Are we all good? Tell me stuffs. I'm sorry I didn't reply to yours as well. I didn't reply to Phil. I didn't reply to... Do you know what? It was... how come you never acknowledge my... Did you on my post that I put up? Because you're not on there. That's what I was literally just about to say. Like, oh, you didn't comment. But it's not on there. Do you mean like I went in and I saw Tiffany's and Phil's and I put a like next to them, but I came out. When was yours up? Did it go up after theirs? Because I haven't been in since. Hey Phil, how are we doing? If you put yours up first, Warwick, something's going on because it's not there. Or it wasn't when I went in. When did you put it up? How are we doing, Phil? How's it going? I saw my like, don't worry. I know. That's what I'm saying, but Warwick was asking why I hadn't liked this, but there wasn't one from Warwick on there. It's really weird. But yeah, it's not. I mean, if it's on there now, the only way it could have happened is if you put it up after. Phil was first. I was second. Oh, so you wasn't even first or last. Someone's out for you, my friend, or is he out for me? I don't know, but it's not there. I'll have a look after, but it was, and especially if it was in the middle. How could I miss that? I was just about to give you stick. I don't know, but it wasn't there. Was it there, Tiffany, when you went on? Because if Tiffany was after Warwick, did you see it, Tiff? Something's very oddball. Tiffany, was Warwick's comment? Second, and I still got acknowledged before you. No, Tiffany, was Warwick's comment there when you wrote yours? When you says, I'll see you later, was Warwick's there? No? See? Oh, if you'd have said yes then, I'd have been like, oh my God, what have I done? And how did I miss it? See, it's not me. I knew it wasn't. I couldn't say what order it all came in, sorry. Me either. Yeah, I don't know what that's about, matey. I have no idea. I was about to give you stick, though. I was like, where was you? But, yes, Phil, and guys, so sorry it was late this evening. It was, my daughter has got a Viking day tomorrow at school. It's like a Viking workshop. So, first we were trying to sort out clothes, because apparently she wasn't dressing up. Asked her all week. No, we're not dressing up. Normal uniform. Comes back today. We need to dress up. So I was like, right, okay. So we're trying to get something together for her. Then a tooth falls out, which is very, very dramatic in this household. It was like, I can't explain it, but it was very dramatic. And then after all of that, as I'd gone in and saw you guys' messages, another message come through from the school. They're not even open tomorrow because there's a gas leak. So all of that this evening for zero, for nothing. So I'm sorry, guys, I was so late putting it up. But yeah, my day's been a bit mad. My day's been a bit mental. I had to take her to an appointment this morning that wasn't at the time, so then I had to get the time changed. I had to go and get her back from school, take her back to the appointment, then take her back to school. It's been crazy, I'm afraid. So that's been my day. That's been my day anyway. So yeah, but as for Warwick's comment, no idea. What did Tiffany? Tiffany said something then. What did you say? Oh, is he still ill, Tiffany? No. So you've had a whole week of that. Has it been a lot of... has it been a lot of that? Help me. Because I understand. I get it. Your nephew's been offered a job at the school library. He did an interview and everything. Oh, cute. Oh, that's sweet. Is he going to do it? I think we should have a new day added to the week. Rose Day. Yes, this is Rose Day. This is Rose Day. And people just don't get it, Phil. They don't understand that Thursday is Rose Day and they shouldn't be interrupting me. Or on a Tuesday. So Tuesday and Thursday. I shouldn't be interrupted, I don't think. Oh, tell him congratulations from Auntie Jessie. Tell him I'm very proud of him. That's amazing. Oh, God. Is he doing okay? Is he doing well? How's his first couple of weeks been? Oh, I'm so proud. Where did Warwick go? Where are you, Warwick? I swear I didn't see it, but I'll look after. I'll look after. And if it's not on there, there's nothing I can do. I'm threatening here, but what can I do? And your brother-in-law is a big girl. Oh, there he is. There he is. Yes, he is. Yeah, he is. But he's not alone. He's not alone. Your nephew has been very what's the word I'm looking for? Not self-involved. That's me. What's the word I'm looking for? Just feeling very sorry for himself this week. But he's feeling a little bit better now. What funny now the weekend's nearly here. Although he's not happy that Madam gets the day off tomorrow. He's not happy about that. But do you know what? She was moaning when he got to go in an hour later than her when they went back. It's just a constant battle. It's a battle. I'm thinking it's my thing. I think you might be right. I think you are right. This is the Rose family after all. We are, Phil. And why don't people get that? They need to know. They need to know. Stop annoying us on Thursdays and Tuesdays. But definitely Thursdays. Because Thursdays we're close to the weekend. We've got all stuff. What are we doing the weekend then? Phil, are we watching sport? Warwick, are we having the alcohol? What are we doing? Was I aggressive then? Sorry. I got a bit excited. Tiff, was it your mum who nicknamed your daughter the long... You're going to have to start calling her that. The long one. The long fella. That's hilarious. That's very funny. And we all need to respect our queen. Jess Rose, yes. Yes. Oh, bow before me. Bow before me. Although I prefer princess to queen. I feel like I'm more of a princess. I know I'm a bit old to be a princess now, but I'm still claiming that title. Queen just sounds all cold and stuff. I prefer princess. But, oh, that's hilarious. That was the long fella. That's ace. And that was Tiffany, you came up with that, didn't you? Yeah, that's their names now. She tries to push it on mine when they're up there too. Everyone needs to take the knee for Jess. Take the knee. Take a bow, guys. Take a bow. I'm very loud this evening. I think I'm excited because I am Princess Rose. So I'm very happy with that title, Phil. Thank you. Very happy with that. All take a bow. Yes, my nickname for all the children in my life. It is the nickname for all the children in your life. Yes, you are. Mine don't tend to answer to it. So you can keep trying with them. They don't tend to answer. I have my own nicknames for them that they don't respond to. Although Chubbs for the older one doesn't really work anymore. He's not what you would call chubby anymore. So, but I still call it him. My little Chubbs. That's who he is. Bless. I was going to say something then. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. What was I going to say? And I can't remember it now. I hate that. Because it's right there. He was never little sis. He was my little fat boy. He was my little fat man. He's not anymore. He's my big fat man. He's not even fat. He's just big now. He's towering me now. It's just frightening. I was thinking, Dave, Courtney, Charlie, Bronson, and hold on. Let me read this again. Keeps going off. It annoys me. I was thinking, Dave, Courtney, and Charlie Bronson, and the long fella is David Hunt. I don't know these people, Warwick. I don't know these people. I know Charlie Bronson. Dave Courtney. Was he a musician? And I don't know who David Hunt is. I don't know who that is. Kid was born 6 foot like a fully grown man. Yes, he was. He was. He was always a big. He wasn't born big though. He's a little diddy thing, but he got big very quick. Yes, he did. I can't even argue it. I just can't. It's just my little monster. The other one insists that she's my no. I know that my glasses have steamed up. I know that. I know, but Dave, Courtney, and Charlie Bronson. No, I know Courtney and Bronson. I know Courtney and Bronson, but what are the names you've given? Oh, I know Charles Bronson. I know Charles Bronson. I know who that is. I know the actor and the guy. I think he's great. Should I say that about him? The fella in prison. Should I say that? I just thought he was really funny, but maybe I shouldn't say that. He's not bad. I don't know why he's still locked up. If he is, I haven't actually looked into. I mean, is he still alive? But the last time I saw it, I thought he was all right. I did. Shall I stop talking? Dave Blunt. Who's Dave Blunt? No, he said Hunt, didn't they? Hunt. I don't know them. Obviously, I only know the one, which is Charlie Bronson. No, but Bronson, I don't think. Shall I stop talking? Sorry, I'm trying to make sense of what's going on. I know. It's making sense in my own brain. I forget I'm talking to people sometimes. It's just terrible. Oh, dear. Oh, no one would want to know how my brain clicks along. It's frightening. It's absolutely frightening. It can't stay on track for a second. It's terrible. But on that note, no public talking. It says 10-second rule. Tiffany used to give me a 10-second rule. Always. But she's not here to give me that. And she doesn't write it in time. So the words just come out. They're all gangsters' paradise. Are they all gangsters' paradise? The song. I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop now. Before I get involved in a chat that I know nothing. No, it's 9:15 minutes. Where's Hayley? She can't say it's because she got the lads tonight. That was Tuesday. Where is she? My other moderator extraordinaire. Why is she not here? That looks like that's my hair and that it's messy, but that's not my hair. She's watching the boys. That's and yes, where is Jessica? She commented not long after the story went up on Tuesday as well. So she must have just missed us. Tuesday, Thursdays, but oh, well, that's a bit naughty. Doesn't he know? Doesn't he know it's Princess Jessica and the Rosie's day? Does he not know that? I need to put it in writing. I need to put it in writing and post it and say, find a different auction. Does he sell stuff or buy stuff? Is he just going to look? What is he doing there? What is going on? I'm sweating around. Sweating again. Sweating again. Very shiny going on. Right, I'm going to start. I've got the fan on. Can you hear that? You boys. Oh, does it? Oh, I'm sure she loves that. Looking for a life. Oh. You're lucky she's not on here. She'd fight you. Oh, dear. She'd come at you. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy about that, though. Don't bring back junk. Don't bring back junk. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of it. I have that kind of household myself, and it's like, get it out of here now. Anyway, on that note, while I'm getting annoyed on Hayley's behalf, she's probably not even annoyed by it. I'm getting annoyed for her. I think I might start. But yeah, Jessica, I think she might come in tonight. Like I say, she commented really soon. I think she commented soon after. What's up, where kids have moved on and you want rich to buy you want. On that note, I'm leaving you to it because I can see what kind of evening you're going to have. So I'm going to begin with my second intro. That's what I'm going to do. Hair's starting to get long again. It's too hot. I knew I shouldn't have left it down. I know. She hasn't even put laughing faces. God, what did you do, Warwick? Oh, I know. No kisses, nothing, no laughing emojis. Or she gets very defensive over her friends, does Tiffany. You have to be very careful. Although, the way you should think about it, she would get just as defensive if someone was saying stuff about you. That's how you need to think about it. So, on that note, I'm going to start my live. That's what I'm going to do. I found it really funny. Maybe I shouldn't have laughed. Should I not have laughed? I thought it was quite funny. Tiff, when are you ever going to grow up? Oh, my God. Phil! I'll let you go in. Be my guest. All the guns blazing. Off you go. Oh, dear. Right, okay. Right. Second intro is incoming. Let's do it. She hasn't even replied yet. Ooh, what did you do? What did you two do? Oh, there she is. They seen my reaction to your story on Tuesday. They should know better. They should know better. I know they should. They just forget sometimes, I think. She's the main one who says things about me, but I'm not bothered. No bickering. No bickering, husband and wife. No bickering. It's not allowed in my comments. There's only 3 of us left. Four including me. But it has to be us against the world. No infighting. No infighting. I'm making stuff up now. I'm making comments up now. Right, okay. Phrases. Words. I've got to... This is going to be terrible. My brain's gone to pot tonight. Okay, let's go. Shh. Or I'll put emojis up. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he doesn't like emoji. Right, okay. Anyway. Second intro incoming. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. It's True Crime with Jess Rose. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Tuesdays on my request evenings. Thursdays are stories that I like to bring to you. I'm also over on the TikTok, which is Jess Rose 5472, or you could join my Patreon, which is patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. I'm live every Tuesday and Thursday, but if you're watching this, it means it's gone up on my pre-recorded videos, which go up at the weekend. If you'd like to subscribe or drop a like, I'd really appreciate it. Or any of the above, or just watch, and that'd be amazing too. That'd be great. So now that I've got all that out the way, I'm going to begin tonight's story, which is the harrowing Maddie Clifton story. Okay. Oh, it's so sad. Okay, so we have Madeline Ray Clifton, born on the 17th of June 1990 in Jacksonville, Florida. It's an American story. To her parents, Sheila and Steve Clifton. She had an older sister, Jessie Clifton. She was 3 years older. Okay, now Maddie. So her name's Madeline, but everyone calls her Maddie. So that's what I'm going to refer to her as during the story. Now, she's said to be, she's a pretty little girl, very outgoing. Loved music. She's very gifted at playing piano. She loved football. Said she was very girly, plus a tomboy, all rolled into one. You know, she could play football and basketball and do ballet at the same time. It said that, you know, she's just one of them girls who were very just gifted and could mix with everybody. Her family, very, very close-knit family. She was, as I say, she was very close to her sister. Her and her sister Jessie were best friends. And she had lots of friends in school around the neighbourhood. Now, the neighbourhood, it was said, was a great place for kids to grow up. You'd always see kids out on their bikes, playing football, as I've said, just running around. It's supposed to have been a great place to, you know, for young families. She was a great friend to everyone. It says she was very kind, as I've said, very loving. Now, Maddie and Jessie, as I've said, best friends, and they would tell each other stories on the night before bed. They were in separate rooms, but they kind of shaped between the bedrooms and tell each other. I don't know if it was ghost stories or what stories they were, but Jessie said that then Maddie would turn around and say, "Sissy, can I come and sleep with you? Or can I come and sleep in your bed?" So I'm assuming it might have been ghost stories they were telling each other back and forward. But everything I've read and listened to about this little girl and their family as a whole, they just seemed very, very kind, very sweet, very close-knit, and it just radiated through Maddie. Now, Jessie, the older sister, I'd read that she was a little bit shy. She was a little bit more reserved than Maddie. Maddie was the outgoing one and the one to make friends everywhere she kind of went. Just not shy at all. And her biggest thing was if she saw someone lonely, maybe being made fun of, or even if they weren't being made fun of, just anyone who didn't appear to have friends, she was the one who would be there. She was the one who'd go to them and ask them to play, or just make friends with them. She was just that type of girl. Very, very sweet girl. Okay, now I'm going to move on to another fella, who's called a fella called Joshua Phillips. Okay, now Joshua was born on the 17th of March 1984, and he was born in Pennsylvania, again in the US. Okay, his mum and dad, Melissa, who was more known to be called Missy, and Steve Phillips. Now Josh, who he was known as, said to be quite quiet, shy, Said he could, once he got to know people, he could be quite funny, quite intelligent. Said that he was quite frightened of his dad. Now, I'm doing this story, but the more of a rabbit hole I've gone down about this case, the more confused I've got. Okay? So I'm going to tell you on the face of it, the story that you would have found out initially. And then I'll go into a little bit more detail a bit later on in the story. So if you do know this case, don't be screaming at the camera. Say, you've got that wrong. Just hang on until the end. And then if I've got anything wrong, let me know. Okay? But as I've said he was very scared of his dad. I've heard that his dad liked to drink. He had a fierce temper. Ruled the family with an iron fist. And Josh just used to spend a lot of time in his bedroom, you know, just scared to get in his dad's way. So this is the family that Josh was in. He was, like I say, said that he was funny when you got to know him, but at home, I believe he literally had to fly around the house, you know, for fear of getting his dad's wrath. This is what I've heard about his family. So he was more of what you would say a mummy's boy. No, I don't mean that in a negative way, but he was very close to his mum. Okay. Now at age 14, Josh and Missy and Steve, there is only the three of them. I have not found anywhere that he's got any siblings. I believe he's an only child. And the family moved to Jacksonville, Florida. Okay. Now, they happened to move in opposite Maddie and her sister. And obviously her parents, Sheila and Steve. Okay. And Maddie and her sister Jessie noticed not only have they got this new neighbour across the road. Now, he's older than them. But he's across the road and he's got a little puppy. They loved animals. They were like, yes, we've got like someone we can go and play with, and we can play with his puppy. This is kind of their thought process as they went over. And as I've said, Josh was quite reserved. It's a new place to live. He's in fear of his dad, and he's got these two little girls coming over to make friends with him. Now, he was 14 at this time. Jessie was 11 and Maddie was 8. Okay, so that's the age frame. That's the time frame of them. Now, 14-year-old boy, you might be like, well, that's, you know, there's a big age gap, really. But it seemed to work. They got him out. And as I've said, they liked his puppy, and that's how it was. But it wasn't just him they used to go and see. Maddie was friends with everyone. Jessie had her own little group of friends. So he was just a neighbour across the road that they just wanted to make feel comfortable in his new home. Okay. And this is how they became friends. Now, it's said that Josh's dad wasn't too happy about that. And he didn't particularly like the two girls hanging around. There is a video of Jessie on her bike coming in and Josh going, oh, he's the girl from across the street. And then Maddie walks over and she's like, hi, Josh. And you can see Jessie goes down on the floor and she's playing with his dog. And then the camera turns and you see Maddie. And she looks so sweet. She, like I said, she's like, hi, Josh. And that's all the footage I've seen. But it looked like they got on very well. So now we're going to get to the 3rd of November 1998. Okay. Now, Maddie left school as usual. And it was said that she'd have a piano lesson. I'd heard she had a piano lesson every day after school. Okay. And after her piano lesson, she begged her mum, can I go out and play? Nothing unusual in that. And at this point, it's about 4:30 in the afternoon. All right. Now, it wasn't unusual for Maddie to do this. As I've said, the area they live in is full of kids out playing. You know, it reminds me, it's a typical 90s neighbourhood by the sounds of it, where kids would all be out playing. That's what they would be doing. They wouldn't be at home technically on computers watching TV. They would be out. So it's not unusual that she's gone out to play. Okay. Now, when normally Maddie and Jessie would play with each other. Now, as I've said, they're best friends. On this particular evening, though, Jessie had already gone out and she was out with her friends. So Maddie had gone out on her own. But, you know, her mum, Sheila, wasn't too concerned because she knew she had friends everywhere. So it wasn't a concern. And she knew she'd be in for dinner because the family would all sit down for dinner every night without fail. So then it gets to about 6:20. So a couple of hours later, dinner's almost ready and Jessie comes in through the back door. But she comes in alone. Now, they didn't go out together, so okay. But her mum's like, well, where's Maddie? And she's like, I haven't seen her. I've just come home. So mum's like, oh, this is a bit unusual. You know, she knows what time dinner is. So she asked Jessie to go out and look for her. And sort of, Sheila does look out the front door and she kind of shouts up and down the road. Jessie goes out on a bike, you know, going round to friends that they believe Maddie might, maybe time had just got away from her and, you know, she hadn't realised how late it was getting. But no one had seen her. She's 8 years old and no one's seen her. So this was so unlike her daughter that Sheila automatically, her stomach drops and she begins to panic. Can't imagine how. Oh, can't imagine it. And she calls 911. Okay. So police arrive, and due to the fact she's so young, it's such a close-knit community anyway. I believe some of the family were known to some of the police, not in a negative way, in a positive way, you know. So the police straight away begin a search, you know, get a search party together. They go knocking on neighbours' doors around the neighbourhood, asking questions. Anyone seen this young girl? As soon as the neighbours and in the surrounding areas start to hear about that Maddie hasn't come home, they all come out and, you know, begin looking for little Maddie. And I can't imagine how Sheila and Steve were feeling at this point. I just can't. It's November, it's dark, you know, they've got to have been getting really stressed. Now, also out looking was Joshua from across the street and his parents. Other neighbours were out. You know, it was dark, so they were out with their flashlights, you know, just looking everywhere that these kids would be known to go. But this wasn't like Maddie. It's not like she was at a friend's house. It was getting later. We're going into the early hours of the morning now. There's still no sign of her. You know, everyone's really thinking kind of the worst, I would imagine. Not in the sense of what, not in that sense, but that it's not just that she's wandered off. You know, something has definitely happened to this young girl. Now, as I've said, all the local kids and parents had been helping. They searched all night long. But it was like she literally just disappeared off the face of the planet. It's like she literally just disappeared. Sheila, Steve and Jessie were beside themselves with worry. And as I've said, I can't imagine it. Jessie's only 11, but it was said she doted on her little sister. So she was utterly beside herself as well. We went into day 2, and the police were now checking all the known sex offenders from around the area and surrounding areas. Apparently there was one that wasn't too far from where the Clifton family lived. He was brought in and questioned. I've heard that he was given a lie detector, which I've heard he failed. He did fail, so that was questioning. So that was a bit odd. But the thing was, and you might be like, right, okay, he's failed, he's got enough. But he had an airtight alibi. So police were a bit confused. As we know, lie detectors, that's why they're not admissible in court, because they're not, they're not 100% definite when they come back, either lying or telling the truth, as we know. So you can't always go on the lie detector. There's $100,000 reward offered. There's hundreds of people out there still searching. I just, imagine letting your little girl out to play, and it's not like you've let her out after dinner either when it's got later. She's not long got home from school. It's still quite early. It's the 90s. I suppose people now hearing about this case would be like, she was 8. Why was she out on her own? It was a different time. It genuinely was. Kids being out on the streets was not unheard of. In fact, it'd have been unusual if they weren't. Now you see gangs of kids around and you're automatically like, you might think they're up to no good, depending on where you live. But back then, it was just how it was. And, and just to do that and allow her to go out and play, and then she doesn't come home, I can't imagine how they felt. Days continue to go by, and there's still no sign of this beautiful little girl. This beautiful, kind-hearted, sweet little girl. There's no sign of her still, okay? Now, we get to the 10th of November, 1998. Now, this is 7 days. She's been missing for an entire week. I can't imagine. Can't. Now, Missy, which, as I've said, if you remember Joshua, the girl's friend, his mum, as I said, his mum's Missy, and his dad is Steve. Okay, same as Maddie's dad's name. All right. So Missy, she walks past Josh's room. This is early morning. He's left for school. Steve's gone to work, so she's cleaning up the house and stuff. And she walks past Josh's room, and she's been noticing a smell coming out of his room for the past few days anyway. Now, Josh, as I mentioned earlier, he had a little puppy, and he had birds as well as pets. He loved animals, it was said. Absolutely idolised animals. So he had this little puppy, he had these birds. And the smell that was coming out of the room, his bedroom, she just put down to the birds, and he hadn't cleaned their cages, maybe. So she notices as she looks in, not only is his smell coming out into the hall, but his room's a complete tip. Typical teenage boy, nothing unusual there. So, she goes, right, okay, let's get this place clean and give it a good clean and tidy up. So, as she's picking up clothes from around his room, she begins to notice that there's water over by his bed, okay? And she starts to worry, because this is a water bed. And I've never known a child to have a waterbed, I'm just going to say. Maybe it was common. I knew adults, like friends' parents back then, that had waterbeds. I never knew a child had one, but he did. He had a waterbed. And as she saw the water on the floor beside the bed, she was like, oh, God, no, it's got to be leaking. She rolls her eyes, and what she thinks is that could possibly what the smell is, like stagnant water, maybe. She's not too sure. So she reaches under to try and clear anything under there, and to see if she can find out where the leak's coming from. And she noticed that the frame under the bed had duct tape on it. So it's like, from what she can tell and what she's trying to piece together, it's like Josh knew his bed was leaking. He tried to fix it himself. So she's like, oh, God. So she removes the tape carefully so she can see what's going on under there and stuff. And she doesn't want to cause any more damage, but she wants to see if it can be fixed. And you know, as she's under there, she sees a small sock under there, and you know, she's just cleared up 100 socks from around his room, so she's like, oh God, it's another one. And she goes to grab this sock, and the sock doesn't come with her. Instead, the sock's on a very small foot. And she loses her mind. She absolutely loses her mind, as you can imagine. You've gone in your kid's room to clean their room, and you're cleaning around, and you're under the bed. Now, I've had to pick up socks many, many times from a bedroom floor for it not to be just a sock, for it to be a small foot under his bed that you're pulling at. Oh my God, I can't. So she runs from the house, Missy does, okay? And she runs to the nearest policeman that's out there. Now, as I've said, this search, it's been going on for a week, but it's still very much in you know, there's still a lot of police around. There's police that stay in Maddie's family's home, just in case there's a phone call. They don't know, has she been kidnapped? Is there a ransom wanted? They don't know what's going on. So there's still a lot of police around the area. So as Missy runs out the house, she bumps straight into a policeman, screams at him to come and, you know, come with her. She brings him into the house, brings him up to Josh's bedroom and points. She just points. She can't go back near under his bed again, but she points. So the policeman kind of lifts the mattress slowly, and he sees what Missy's just seen, and he's like, oh God. He lifts the mattress, and there's little Maddie, deceased. Okay, so quite obvious stab wounds were on her little body, as well as marks on her neck. She was naked from the waist down, and she'd basically been shoved into the bed frame. Oh God. There is like diagrams of where she would have been, and mattresses here. There's kind of a frame there, and she's kind of been put into the frame of the bed. Yeah. Now they go across the road straight away to let Sheila and Steve know what's going on. Detectives come in to Mrs. House, obviously, to bring little Maddie out. Now Sheila and Stephen were obviously beside themselves. They've now got to break it to Jessie, that her little sister that they've been looking for a week has been found dead. Not far away, opposite, in the house opposite, in the neighbour's house. Okay. And while Maddie's parents were being told, the police went to Josh's school so they could question him. So they're going to the school and obviously get him out of school. And he denies it at first. He denies. He doesn't know what they're talking about. What do you mean? There's a little girl being found, and well, what are you talking about? He pulls that whole shebang. But then doesn't take him long, and he quickly tells them what happened. Now the things are up because, as I've said, when I started this story, I went down a rabbit hole with this story, and this is what he's told us, or told the police and the public. This is what happened. Okay, And I'll keep going with the story. You tell me if you believe this is what happened, okay? But this is what he said. Now, don't forget, this lad's 14 years old, okay? And I said he had denied it at first, but then he says Maddie had knocked on, okay, a week before. So on the night she'd gone out to play after her piano practice on, on the 3rd of November, all right? She knocks on and asks him to come out to play, all right? He said he's got chores to do. His dad would be angry if he doesn't finish his chores. So he's like, I can't come out. And she keeps insisting. She wants to see his dog. She wants to see his little puppy. And he's like, come on then, come round the back. So they go into his back garden, I believe, where the pool is. And they start playing. I presume it's baseball. I presume this is what he's saying they started playing. And when it's his turn to bat, as he hits the ball, he hits it really hard, but it hits little Maddie in her head. Okay. He says she started screaming. Her head was bleeding. He didn't know what to do. He's panicked. He knows his dad's due home. He doesn't know what to do with himself. So, and she won't stop screaming. She just won't. So he brings her inside, so everyone doesn't hear this young girl screaming. He brings her in and she carries on. She carries on screaming and there's bleeding and he's getting really stressed. He doesn't know what to do. So he hits her over the head again 2 or 3 times. I believe it was with the bat he'd been playing with just. So I've read somewhere else that it was just another object, a blunter object. But he hits her over the head 2 to 3 times, okay? And then I've heard she went quiet. Other reports say she went unconscious. But he brings her to his room, all right? And when he brings her up there, he hears his dad come home. And so he shoves her under his bed, okay? She's whimpering, but he's scared of his dad finding out, and certainly finding out this girl's in his house, because don't forget, as I mentioned, he'd been warned not only to not play with these girls, he had been told he's not allowed anyone in the house. So he's really panicking. So his dad comes in, he goes downstairs, Josh does, says hi to his dad or whatever. Potters about downstairs for a couple of minutes and then he goes back up to his bedroom. He closes the door, okay? And when he gets in there, he says she was still crying. And so he took her out from under his bed. This is what he's saying. And he stabbed her because he was scared. He was scared of his dad finding out that she'd been in the house and that perhaps he'd hurt her. Right, okay. He also said, now if you remember, Maddie was found naked from the waist down, bar the socks she had on. And he said that had happened when he'd been dragging her to his room, sorry. And then he said he dragged her inside. But I thought you told her to come inside. So how did you drag her in? Very questionable. Very, very questionable. Police, charge him with 1st-degree murder. He's charged, okay? Now, the autopsy, when that came in, it did tell a different story. As I'm telling you this, it doesn't make sense. Now, the autopsy, although she was naked from the waist down, okay, there's no sign of a sexual attack, okay, on this little girl. There's no sign of that. There's no sign of a head injury, though. Now, remember, he said he'd hit her with the ball, her head had started bleeding, that's why he'd got her into the house. Well, there was no blood found on the ball, on the bat, outside. There was no, Maddie's blood weren't found in those areas to corroborate what he said was the course of events. Now he said he'd when he was dragging her in, her clothes had, that's how her trousers and underwear had come off, but there was no dirt on her clothes. There was no marks on her clothes at all. So that didn't make sense. What he hadn't mentioned, she'd also been strangled. Remember I said there was marks on her neck? She'd actually been strangled with a phone cord. It was said for 15 minutes. 15. You know, they say strangulation is the most intimate, I suppose, category of murder. If you're strangling someone, because you are so close to that person. 15 minutes. Oh my God. She'd also been stabbed 11 times. 11. She was only 8. She was tiny. In 1999, the trial goes ahead. Okay. Now, he's now 15 at this point. Now, during the trial, there's no witnesses brought forward for the defence whatsoever. Josh doesn't talk, doesn't testify on his own behalf. Like I say, there's no witnesses. No one comes forward as a character witness for him or anything. Like the defence doesn't bring forward anybody. The prosecution, though, well, they're scathing. They are saying this was no accident whatsoever. The autopsy doesn't show that this was an accident. It doesn't show his course of events. That none of that ties up. Also, as I've said, he had claimed that he was terrified of his dad. His dad was this monster. He abused him over the years, like violently. Yeah, no witnesses come forward to prove that either. That's been questioned. So all this fear I've been talking about, which is what was said at the beginning, so I've tried to do the story in order. Yeah, apparently not so much. It said that his dad wasn't abusive to him. So this is what the prosecution brings forward, and they're like, it's not. He's lying. He's lying. None of this adds up. This isn't what happened. He's brought that girl in and he's murdered her. You know, for what? But he has. Now it's also been shown that before this would have happened and after, he'd been looking at pornography. 14. Mind not quite right. They do believe that's had an effect in there too. Now, she wasn't sexually assaulted, but was that because his dad came home and he panicked? You know, she was naked from the waist down, and it's been proven that that wouldn't have been an accident as he was dragging her. So was that the motive? And he's just been disturbed. It's all kind of guesswork, really. But to be honest, makes a lot more sense than the story he's come up with. Okay. Now he's found guilty, and his sentence is life with no parole. And it only took 2 hours for him to come back to that with the guilty verdict. Now, death sentence wasn't gone for because of his age. Of course, he's 15 now, but he was 14 at the date of the murder. But he's given life, no parole, at 15 years old. Now we know that that's not a thing. They don't allow that now. They say it's unconstitutional. But then, in 1999, oh, that's what they would give them. And that's what he got. Now, Missy, his mum, oh, she's heartbroken, okay? You can't imagine what that must have been as she found Maddie. Her life's been blown apart. Now, it doesn't compare to what Sheila and Steve have gone through. There's no comparison. You can't compare to that. But I think, you know, her life was blown apart too that day. And she, I don't understand, but she, from the beginning, from the minute he was sentenced, began fighting for him to get an appeal, to get released. I suppose in the court, you know, especially in a big court, she's seen her little boy. That's what she's looking at, and she wants to fight for him, and she doesn't deny that. She doesn't deny that. She says she's going to stand by her son, which is, oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. Now, Josh's dad, Steve, he ended up dying in a car crash 2 years later. So we'll never really know the ins and outs of that. Now, would Missy tell the truth when she's trying to defend her son and get him out of prison? I don't know. So we won't ever know what the makeup of that family unit was. Was he just a tyrant who ruled his family with an iron fist and made his son so scared that he panicked and killed a child? Or was that just something that was come up with at the last minute as an excuse for what he did? Now, as I've said, I started looking into this and I've gone down a complete rabbit hole to the point of, you know, I always go into comment sections. You know, sometimes family members can come forward in comment sections. You can go into many places and find that. Now, as just like with anything, comment sections, you also have to take with a pinch of salt. I do understand that, but I've heard it through other sources as well. So I'm also going to tell you other things that were involved that weren't brought up at the trial. Now, it was said that he had an obsession, but it wasn't with Maddie. It was with Jessie, her older sister, who was still 3 years younger than him, which doesn't sound a lot, but 14 and 11, it's a big difference. But it said he was absolutely obsessed with her, to the point that he broke in to Maddie and Jessie's home at some point and stolen a pair of Jessie's underwear. So that's been said. That's what I've found. I'll say allegedly, because as I said, it didn't come up in the trial. They said it wasn't connected, and that's why it wasn't brought up. But this has been found out. He also had a picture of Jessie in his bedroom wearing a leotard. Why have you got that? As I mentioned, he'd watched pornography before and after what he'd done to Maddie. There's the question of, was there any abuse from his dad? Now, Jessie has appeared in a podcast. And she said that her and Maddie, it was far from being great pals with this lad. Now, maybe the video footage that you see of them with him, where you see Jessie come in and start playing with his dog, and then Maddie walk up the path. Now, we don't know that, you know, had what I'm about to say happened before or after that, but it said that Jessie said in a podcast, said her and Maddie thought he was creepy and they didn't like him, and she didn't believe that Maddie would have gone over there alone. So there's that question as well. Now, during his time in prison, now he did appeal in 2002, not back straight away. Now he did go into therapy while he's been in prison, and one of what the therapist had advised him to maybe write an apology letter, you know, to the family, the Clifton family, but he said no. I want to be able to apologise face to face. I just don't think writing them a letter is the right thing to do, or you know, he just didn't think that would be right to do. He wanted to see them. You're in life for life, no parole, but okay. Now 2012, he's now age 28. All right, and the law changed around this time, with regards to minors being locked up. So basically under 18s being locked up for life with no chance of parole. You know, they believe that's unconstitutional, as I mentioned earlier, which is why now, you know, a 14, 15-year-old being locked up with no chance of ever getting out would be, I don't think that's a thing that can happen now. So the law changes. So they said he could have a new trial hearing. So he could have a hearing for it. So in 2017, when he was 33, was the new trial hearing, as I mentioned, which is where he apologised. He got on the stand and he apologised directly to the Clifton family. And it's about, he talks for a few minutes. I noticed a lot of eyes in it. I feel bad. I struggled over the years. I didn't find it. It's hard to say. I mean, it said that he's been a model prisoner. You know, he passed a load of exams while he's been in prison. He's now a paralegal in prison. He actually helps other prisoners with their court cases. He hasn't got into any trouble while he's in there. He was talking about the dark days that he's had while he's been in there, and you know, the only reason he hasn't brought an end to his life is he wouldn't want to put his mum through any more. But he apologised, you know, obviously to the family who were sat there. You know, Sheila, Steve and Jessie were all there. And yeah, when they got up, no forgiveness there. You know, they say it's not there. They are Christians. They're quite devout Christians as well, the whole family. But they're basically saying, you know, it's not their job to forgive him. You know, he's got to face God, and you know, so that's the way they came at it. But basically the dad was saying, you know, I'll never get to walk down the aisle. The mum was saying, oh, you know, it's great for you to have gone through your schooling, and it's great for you to have got, you know, had all these accomplishments while you've been in prison, but my daughter's never had that, and she'll never have that. So, you know, there's no sort of let up from the family. Absolutely agree, 100%. So at the end of it all, he was re-sentenced and he was given life, no parole. Okay, so 100% agree with it. Now in 2023, at this point he's age 39. He requested another hearing, which was declined. And then we come to 2025, this year. He's now age 41. And he's requested a review because his 25-year minimum, his life sentence, he's completed that now. He's done those 25 years, which classes as life. Over here it's 15 years laughably, but it's 25 years there. And he's requested another review. Now, that hasn't happened yet, and I'll keep you updated on that. But it's like, it's really sad because every single time he does this, every single time he goes for a review or wants a parole hearing or whatever else he's looking at, the Clifton family get brought in again. They have to relive the whole thing again. And I just think it's so sad. Now, Missy herself, as I've said, she's never stopped fighting for him. You know, she's the one who's, you know, been pushing, getting the legal advice and, you know, sorting out lawyers for him. And, you know, she's been behind that. Now, Jessie, as I mentioned, had spoken on a podcast and she's spoken in a few interviews. And it was said that they remained at their home, the Cliftons did, and Missy still lived opposite. And Jessie had noticed, obviously, the neighbourhood were avoiding Missy's house like the plague. You know, of course they would. You know, her son's a murderer. Little Maddie was found under his bed in that house. But Jessie said when she was talking about this, she said Maddie was the type of child that if she saw someone lonely, if she saw someone being picked on, if she saw someone being ostracised, she would be the first to go to them. So she would do that. So Jessie would go over to the house. She'd ask to walk the dog. When she'd see Missy coming home after, you know, being out shopping or, you know, wherever she'd been, she'd wait for her to come back and she'd run across and help her with her groceries or help her with her bags. Oh God, what a forgiving family, because of course if Sheila and Steve hadn't wanted her to do that, they would, you know, she wouldn't have been doing that. So they must have been allowing her to do that. And I just think, no, it wasn't her fault. I don't think that, but I just couldn't do it. I'd just find that too hard. I genuinely do. You know, she's going over. Their daughter's going over to the house their other daughter was murdered in. You know, I don't believe she was going in there. There was nothing to say she went in the house, but she'd just go and help her. So, just very sweet girl. You know, Jessie said it took her so long at dinner times not to get four plates out of the cupboard and 4 knives and 4 spoons and everything else. It took her so long to just, when she was laying the table, just get the 3 plates out, 3 forks, 3 spoons. Oh, just so sad. You know, unfortunately, Maddie's parents, they'd been together 25 years. They just couldn't get through it. And they did divorce. It said that it was actually Sheila, Maddie's mum, who left the home and Jessie stayed in the home with her dad. I've saw a video now where Jessie now lives in that home, and she says it just makes her feel, she just feels closer to Maddie. You know, she just does. So she lives in that home now, and she's, you know, she talks about great memories that they had there, and oh, it's just so sad. I just can't imagine. I mean, Sheila does say that her biggest fear is if he got out, if Josh got out, that he would come after Jessie. That is her biggest fear, because she feels that was who he was after that day. But he couldn't get to Jessie, so he took Maddie. But that's every bit of information I've managed to find. Now, it might be a little bit hit and miss here and there, but I more go with he had an obsession over Jessie. Maddie might have knocked on, and he saw that as his moment, knowing he was, you know, he didn't have a lot of time. He'd just been watching pornography. He watched it after. You know, he had Jess's underwear in his room. He had pictures of her. He obviously wasn't right. I don't know whether he was abused by his dad or whether that was a lie. There's a lot of questions with regards to this story. There really is. And unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to get the answer. You know, from when he told the police his version of events, since then, all he's ever said is, I don't know why I did it. I don't know. So they'll never get that kind of, oh, I don't know what the word is, that closure. You know, they won't get that. And that's very, very, it's very sad. It really is. Oh, I don't know what to make of it all. I really don't. You know, is it his course of events? Or was it that his dad came home and disturbed him and he couldn't do what he'd wanted to do? I just don't know. But that was the harrowing Maddie Clifton story. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Or you can wait for the story to go up on my pre-recorded ones on the weekend. I genuinely appreciate you joining me. Thank you so much. And I'll be back next Tuesday. Thank you so much again. Thank you. Take care. Oh, how we doing, guys? How we doing? How are we? Oh, are you even listening? Oh, you are. Thank you. It's just really sad. I was just very confused doing this one because I like to know. But the more of the hole I was going down, the more things I was finding out that just didn't make sense. I was like, I don't know. Warwick won't be able to comment anymore as his phone has been smashed through his window. Why are you smashing your phone through your window, Warwick? What's going on? Who's the fourth person, do we know? I've known he's four for a while. Say hi. Have they come in? Or is it just the three of you still? Has Jessica come in? Who's the fourth? Phil made too many blowing jokes. Oh dear. Is that why he wants to smash his phone? I got it. Ooh, really? Okay. I wonder who that is up there. Just come in and say hi, whoever you are. Just say hi. It's okay. We don't bite. I promise. I promise we won't bite you. I promise I won't shout. They're very polite on the first night. No, because he'd say hello, wouldn't he? He'd come in. He's not shy, is he? Although we haven't seen him for a while. So I don't know. Maybe you scared him off the last time. But I don't know. It's very strange. But maybe they just wanted to listen to the story and not natter. But you could just say hi. You could just say hello, how are you? Jessica not joined us again. I'm sorry about that, Phil. I don't know. Because it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon for her, isn't it? When I start. So now it'd be like 4 o'clock. Yeah, because he's in his mum's box room. He's in his mum's box room. Still standing. Oh, he's in his... Oh, okay. Right. Okay. I'm glad I didn't say that like that. And, oh, God, I've hidden the chat. There we go. Where am I? I don't know. Oh, we got 5 again. Where it's got us up because I made too many blowing jokes. So I said he was going to smash his phone through his window. I really am concerned for his phone and his window. It might just bounce off. It might be okay. He might not need to break it. I've got to admit, I don't know how my phone functions. Although, I've got to admit, if you should have seen a few months ago what I was doing these videos on, I'm surprised I could see anything. The cracks in my screen were horrendous. But I've managed to keep it since it's been fixed. I've managed to keep it looking all amazing. But oh my God, if you'd have seen what I was doing these stories on, it was so bad. Not with Warwick's bipolar. Haha. Sorry, Warwick. Oh, boom, boom, boom. Have we been going in? I'm so hot. I'm so hot. That is my socks. That's terrible, isn't it? Oh dear. Oh dear. What am I don't know what that is. I don't know what's going on. I feel like now that I know my daughter's not going in tomorrow, I've relaxed a little bit. And I'm like, weekend's on its way nearly. This is salt jokes. I'm trying to improve your patter. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for letting me jab away hanker. I have to. It's so bad. I've done all right, and then as soon as I stop, it starts again. I have got my phone. I can turn it up a bit now, can't I? Just turn it up a little bit. There we go. I need it. It's terrible. I was fine while I was doing it, and all of a sudden at the end, I felt it go. Don't know what's going on. It's nearly winter, and I'm still dripping. It's just not on. But on that note, oh look. See, I don't know why I bother doing my hair. Look, it's stuck to my head now. I genuinely don't know why I ever bother. Put my heating on this morning. Mine's been coming out, but my dryer's broke. So I have to put mine on to do my clothes. To dry the clothes. Otherwise, you wouldn't get them dry. So mine's been coming on all week, to be honest. But I don't even think it's on now. And it's still so warm. I don't even think it's on. Dude, you know I don't need to be told what to do. It's up to me what to do, what I do and what I don't. Okay. He's putting his foot down there. He's pushing his foot down. But I do believe it is jingle time though. I do believe we're getting to that point. Mum said she came in the other night, but I think she just missed us. She said she came in at nearly 9:30, and I was like, we were gone by then, Mum. We're not there that late. Although we do sometimes when I'm rambling. Mind you, was I late? I wasn't. So what is it? It's about 9:20 now. Have I worked that out right? It's got to be about there, hasn't it? Because I know I was a couple of minutes late, but I weren't as late as I was the other night. My God, the other night I was nearly 10 minutes. Nearly 10 minutes late. Yes, jingle away, my dear. Get on now. I knew you were going to... Do you know... That's why I stutter sometimes before I go to get into a conversation, because I'm like, she's going to start telling me, so hurry up. Love it when you act all hard, Phil. It did sound he was being really assertive then, didn't he? It was like, don't tell me what to do. You tell him, Phil. Right, okay. Let's go. It's jingle time. Well, thank you to Warwick and Phil and my moderator extraordinaire. I do appreciate you so much. I really genuinely do. I don't know who our fourth one was. I don't know who that one is. But maybe we'll find out another time. Don't start another conversation. I wasn't starting another conversation. Oh, Warwick. Okay, let's go. Okay, thank you all so much for joining me. And I will see you on Tuesday. Have a fantastic weekend. See, I'm doing it. I'm doing the jingle. He's just in a remarkable sulky mood tonight. Well, I'll look at the comments. Do you know what, Phil? I didn't look at the comments from the other night. I do need to go back and have a look. It wouldn't let... What was he doing? I went to have a look and it wouldn't let me for some reason. There was something going on. Sorry, I'm doing it now. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you all on Tuesday. Are you swearing at me? I think you are on. No, you wasn't. It was the sulky mood. Okay, right. I will see you all on Tuesday. Look, comment and subscribe, guys. Look, comment and subscribe. Have a fabulous weekend. And look, comment and subscribe, please. I'd really appreciate it very much. And I will see you all Tuesday. Have a fabulous weekend. Take care, finger. Take care, guys. See you when... No.